just as much in Humphreys? I mean, didn't we have some lines in Humphreys that say, to the extent that it exercises any executive function as distinguished from executive power in the constitutional sense, it does so to discharge, it does so in the discharge and effectuation of its quasi-legislative or quasi-judicial powers. So I thought that in Humphreys we recognized this idea that you could have an agency that's exercising legislative or judicial powers still engaging in some executive function, and that doesn't make it an executive agency.
That is exactly right. And on top of that, we have a lot of agencies over a long period of time engaging in all manner of civil enforcement of federal statutes, and yet we do not have a single example of any case from this court in more than 2 centuries that has ever held that a single layer of for-cause removal protection cannot apply to a principal officer of an agency wielding that kind of civil enforcement function.
And so I think that's like your real point. In other words, you're not asking for some sort of conclusive or preclusive rule. That's not your burden in this situation. You are just saying that the way the law has been interpreted by the court here, the existence of Humphreys and Congress's reliance on these kinds of multi-member agencies for something like 90 years plus, that's the background rule. And so now it's up to the government and the Solicitor General to come in to suggest that there's a constitutional problem with that.
That is absolutely right. We have a 111-year-old statute that was enacted by the people's elected representatives. It was signed into law by a president of the United States. It was unanimously affirmed by this court, and it's been followed by every single president since 1935 until the present. We don't need an abstract theory to tell us that the FTC Act is okay. It's the other side that needs to give you a really compelling theory to explain why, in our view, 200 plus years of precedent and history need to be abandoned. But in any event, even according to by their own acknowledgement, we're talking about the modern era of traditional independent agencies, which spans more than half the life of the Republic.
Can I ask you about